Hey everybody, I'm the founder and CEO of Motive 3, also the chief storyteller here. And I thought I would be a good idea for me to just kind of very simply walk you through what a messaging playbook is and isn't. If you're considering a messaging playbook, it's really important to understand what it isn't as much as what it is. So here's what it is. A messaging playbook is a guide. It's a comprehensive guide that's going to align your teams internally to consistently communicate what your brand stands for. And what it is intended to do is ensure that all of your communications are very consistent, regardless of what channel you're using, and also regardless of whether you're communicating internally inside your company or externally. The idea of a messaging playbook is that if everybody has a guide on how you communicate your value to the market and what you represent, anybody should be able to communicate what you represent in your company. So it really frees your messaging to get beyond just your marketing group. So this is what it is. It identifies and articulates the key messages as core ideas that need to be communicated, right? So it contains the core ideas that you will communicate about your brand, your product, or your service over and over again. It will have guidance and documentation on your audience segments so that you know what groups you're communicating to. It will contain your unique benefits that your brand offers so that you can talk about how you're differentiated from others in your market and the alternatives that are also available to your clients or your customers. And most importantly, why you deserve to win over them for the audience that you're going after. It's going to have messaging guidelines on tone, style, and best practices for communication. And it should also include a few examples of how you would apply that so you get a good sense of how you take these core concepts and combine them with the value propositions and the style in order to create real assets. The purpose of it, again, is to align all of your internal teams and make sure that everyone in your organization knows what to say and how to say it. It also guides all of your content creation by providing a framework for creating consistent and relevant content across the board, but within specific guardrails. And then finally, it should give you a way of measuring your effectiveness. It helps you track the impact of your messaging since you're doing your messaging consistently, so you can make necessary adjustments. And there should be kind of key things that you're monitoring as you're going along the way. Now, here's what a messaging playbook isn't. It isn't copy. In other words, this is not a big reference guide where you can go cut and paste things that you want to say externally or internally without doing anything to them. It goes beyond a slogan or a tagline, though sometimes it'll help you articulate that. But it's not the words that you're actually going to drop into your content generally. It's the guide that includes detailed messaging concepts for different contexts and different audiences. It's also not a one-time activity. Creating a messaging playbook is not a one-time task. You're going to evolve your message over time. You're going to add to your message over time. There may be a section in your playbook where you keep adding stories that include client stories, testimonials, etc. You may have a new service offering. And so it's not static, but it is sort of the nucleus of your messaging. So it will require updating on an ongoing basis, I would say minimally annually. It's also not just for marketing, and this is a key, I think, a key concept for you to get. Messaging playbook is not designed to be used exclusively with the marketing team. It's a tool really for the entire organization. There may not everything in the messaging playbook might be relevant to everyone who will have the playbook, but it is not simply a content creation marketing tool. It should impact the entire organization, and it really should be the executive band of the company that rolls this out to your staff. So again, it can be used from sales to customer service, et cetera. It's to make sure that everybody speaks the same language. So here's why you would consider a messaging playbook, and I strongly believe that every single company needs a messaging playbook. There's a handful of documents that are necessary in order for you to really have a grasp of your brand. One is just your mission, vision, and values. That's document number one. Number two is most companies will have some documented brand guidelines that are really more concerned with your logo mark, your typography, colors, photography style, kind of how you visually show up, your identity there. But a messaging playbook is all of the content. It's kind of how you activate those things. And so the reason you need a messaging playbook is number one, for consistency. It's going to ensure that all of your communications are aligned back to your mission, vision, values, and on brand. And that is, as you're consistent, you build trust with your audience. You're also going to want it for efficiency. It's going to save time by providing sort of, ready to use concepts that can be adapted for various channels and purposes. Now it says messages here, but I mean the raw message. Again, it's not copy, it's the key messages. And then finally, you're going to want a messaging playbook for effectiveness, because a playbook is going to enhance the impact of your communications, so because you'll have targeted audience specific messages. And so that's what a messaging playbook is and isn't. It's a critical tool for you to have these days, especially with AI, where it's very easy to get off track with your messaging. And what it's going to help you do is communicate effectively and consistently at scale. So if you're ready to have an actionable messaging playbook, we would love to help you build it. We are kind of the originators of the actionable messaging playbook. Just contact us at Motive3. You can contact me directly at ginger@motive3.com, and we'll get back to you with all the information you need.